Want to do the show or no?
Uh-oh. By the time we actually get around to doing a show, I might forget
what?
Everything I heard today.
What's that? Oh, this? Oh, the entrance to the show? Yeah. That's fine, whatever. I don't have to pay anybody. That's good.
Nice.
And High Time We Talk. Welcome to High Time We Talk.
Nice.
During you guys speaking of organs, I since started a recording, and this could or could not be a show depending on how well prepped we are.
So we're showing right now.
We could be showing.
Rush Limbaugh, perhaps somewhat like us. Of course, he's got more money and laptops.
And excellence in broadcasting network.
Do you ever watch?
Do
you ever watch Family Guy?
Yeah.
You ever watch the show Family Guy?
I've seen it. I don't watch it.
Did you ever see the one? See, I watch it right here. Did you ever see the one where Rush Limbaugh's like, yes?
An episode where Rush Limbaugh used to tell.
And the show's decidedly liberal anyway. And they actually turn out making Rush Limbaugh look good. But at one point, there's a statement where he says, one of the guys says, geez, Rush, I don't know why all these years, you say what I feel. And he says, so you feel you lack the critical thinking skills and therefore it's up to me to do your thinking for you. Yeah. And now Rush did the voices for him.
Yeah, it was actually him.
It was actually him. He was a guest. I remember on his show him talking about having done it.
I do believe that the left and the right hang out together.
Sure.
Go to dinner and laugh at us for all the shit. They get to make money off us thinking that there's a difference.
You ever seen baseball
Is
players?
George Soros really a liberal? I mean...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I mean, he is. But, I mean, wouldn't he sit at a table with Rush Limbaugh and they wouldn't both be able to talk about different things they do that are very similar because they both are in this category with large amounts of cash? That we could never sit at that table and go, yeah, I can relate to that. I remember when my $1 million got huh? I can't.
Baseball players do that all the time. The second they get off the field, they'll just hop over to the nearest bar that's good and they'll all sit there and have a beer together.
You know, there should be baseball card player wives. Oh, they're hot. They got the hottest wife in the planet. They just trade. Hey, you so-and-so's wife.
Tell me that the Koch brothers won't sit down at a meeting with George Soros, sit down and have a meal with George Soros or Warren Buffett.
Or the Koch brothers would sit down and do a line with the Koch brothers, wouldn't they? Kind of.
Koch, Coke, it's all the same when you're playing in their world. Koch, Coke,
right. It's like Coke and Pepsi.
Koch, Coke, Koch.
What are you talking, Koch now? Koch table? There's a whole different entity. This is a show for us. I don't drink it all.
When that graphene shit is available, that's what I'm going to create, Cox cables.
Cox cables? Real cables.
Reel that puppy in.
I'm going to make these Cox cables out of real cable. Instead of the other way.
One atom layer of graphene.
You spelled that wrong. That's C-O-X. That's all wrong. It's a 4-letter word. Cox. Okay. Not 5, actually. It's plural. Right? We're talking a number of them strung together to get this kind of reception.
Cables. Cable Cox.
I don't know. What is it, that stuff they put in the cables nowadays?
What do you steal?
Fiber optics.
Fiber optics.
Yes.
Oh, looking at you through their cocks.
They are. They can see you through your cock. That's almost scary, ain't it?
Yeah, well.
Especially if you're talking directly, or getting an argument.
When you think that you have the closest.
You know what we could do later?
I didn't even really look.
We could while away the hours, conversing with the flowers.
Consulting with the rain. My life would be in danger, or maybe even stranger, if I only had a brain.
I'm not sure why, but about this time of year, just when that song comes to life, it's just one of those things.
Well, when we were kids, it was Easter that the show used to be.
That's probably. most prolific movie. You know what? And I think there's deeper meaning to that movie than there actually.
Was that a pre-code movie?
Huh?
Was that one of those pre-code Hollywood movies?
Pre-colored? I don't think it came out colored, did it? Did it?
No, it was the first color movie, but
It was?
for a while in Hollywood there was like no rules, and they were making movies that were just like crazy pornos.
Even
and,
that. Now they had
stuff,
ethics, didn't they? I mean, didn't they? I never saw really anything real bad. I mean, you see stuff bad on that.
No, you didn't see bad shit.
People just had ethics.
Yeah, no, I showed you that Betty Boop thing, right?
Yeah, that was.
It was from like 1927 to like 30.
I don't think there was
31.
codes. I don't think there was codes. They just like there was, all drugs were legal. They had to make everything illegal. They had to make codes.
Right, in the Motion
now,
Picture Society.
Yeah, but now you get into, and that's because people operated by a moral code, so there was no need to create a law.
Right. Can you imagine if we could do that today?
If people behaved more responsibly, we could get rid of a lot more laws than we have.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's really the bottom line.
I mean, in a way, you think about it. The farther you go out into the deeper parts of the country, rurally, there's less laws. There's less people watching it. I mean, still stuff I'm sure going on.
Less population too.
Don't cities require laws more than
but the same
cities
population.
make you need to have laws.
Massachusetts has the third highest population density.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
like Connecticut and New Jersey.
You know, like for instance, there's a new craze sweeping the nation called knockout.
Yeah.
And I mean, and it really is everywhere. Kind of. I mean, it could be Greenville, South Carolina, just going down the road.
Could be anywhere, yeah.
Could be anywhere. Just showing up anywhere. It's basically idiots. And what happened about like 4 or 5 days ago? This guy was going to play knockout, and he brought a taser, which I'm not sure if that's against the rules. But anyway, he had the taser. He put the taser up to the guy's thing. The guy's waiting at a bus stop for his kid. You know, so they picked the right guy, right? Waiting at a bus stop for his kid. So anyway, the guy got a little zapped and tased. So he reached for his gun because he was a gun carrier.
Yeah.
All legal. He shot the guy twice. Boom, boom. And they took the guy in and tried him and convicted him and in jail now. Nothing happened to the guy who shot him.
Well, he ain't been tried.
And I would think that should be the headline above every other headline in knockout. That's the ultimate way you lose in knockout. If you're making a game called knockout, guess what? When a guy pulls a gun out and shoots you twice,
you lost.
You lose. Not just that you couldn't knock someone out, you know. The thing is, you lose when you get shot. And I would hope that there's going to be a lot more losers soon in this game. Because when you go to assault someone and they are a licensed carrier, you know, let's hope they can shoot better than
I
this
hope
guy.
they just like assault some guy who's just in like regular clothes, who turns out to be like a 9th degree black belt. He just turns around and like snaps him then.
It's going to happen. It's just going to be all
Bound
great
to
story. I'm
There's
just
all
bringing you the
types of-
first good story of knockout. This guy gets shot twice. Now, what I think, if we're going to continue to do any shows, I think we should have the knockout segment where we talk about how the game's going, what's the score, what are the standings, maybe go over some of the standings. You know, who's playing, like, I guess
Are we gonna have a fantasy knockout league?
the New York,
go and pick our teams.
and I don't mean this bad at all. They're called the Niggas. They're not. They're a good team. They've been, they're probably like an expansion team. They made a couple key trades earlier in the year. They've got them some great knockout players. So we're looking for some, something from them this year, I believe. What do you think, Tom? Philadelphia's got a good team this year, too.
I'm looking for knockout moves right now.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Knockout.
So I wouldn't, if Philadelphia ever plays New York in the finals, I think it's anybody's game in that type of scenario.
Student loses testicle in fraternity accident.
See? That's why you join knockout teams, because you don't want to lose a testicle in a fraternity accident. You know, what I like about the news of today, it's very normal. Oh yeah,
A lot of regular,
a lot of regular folks
uplifting
out there.
stuff happening now.
Yeah.
Cop raped
Hanging
teen
out.
in squad car during routine
Boring.
traffic stop.
A cop raped a teenager.
I read that article. I was like,
I didn't. I just read the
I
headline.
guess they can't be more proud. Actually, they arrested the guy pretty quick.
Boys in blue balls.
They arrested the strange yell pretty quickly. 11-year veteran of the force. That's what he's been doing for 11 years.
People that protect and serve.
Yeah.
This is protection.
Gotta be a nightmare. Although I would call them probably an anomaly. I would think that's the way most police officers
Oh, yeah.
operate.
1
Like you
million
said, out in
bodies
small
buried
towns,
in
like
secret
this.
mass graves in New York City.
Oh.
Invisible island for poor and unidentified.
So we can talk about that new product,
Graphene.
graphene.
Graphene's the most important thing I've seen come by. I just want to know how it got out.
Tell them about graphene.
Graphene?
It's an aerogel, right?
No, it's a single atom thick
It's an atomic
layer
particle,
Yeah,
actually.
that's an aerogel.
that comes from graphite. So it's basically a single atom thick layer of carbon that is stronger than steel, more conducive than copper, and should revolutionize the way we do everything.
Stronger than steel and lighter than steel, right?
Oh, yeah.
Way lighter. Like you can put a bunch of it on a flower, right? Can you imagine what they're going to be able to do with this product once they bring it to market?
They don't replace plastic.
Sky will be the limit.
I'm thinking the
Is
first
it
thing they
toxic
should
at all,
do
those
is
pumps?
batteries.
Is it toxic?
I would imagine to an
Yeah,
extent.
because graphite was kind of,
Like, graphite's not really lead, though. Everyone always freaks out and says...
No, it's carbon.
I remember that, like, being really little. Everyone said, oh, if you get the pencil lead in your hand, you get poisoned. It's not really lead.
Yeah.
Is pencil ever really lead inside?
No,
What?
no.
Was there ever really lead inside?
No, the
pencil?
only reason they called it lead
Is
was
it-
because it looked similar
I see.
to the
There was
metal.
when I was in second grade, some nutty kid next to me in my class, they'd made a hole in his arm with a pencil and was putting like in his arm.
Oh, God.
And they, people, everybody was
Yeah.
crazy. That was his part in the crazy world.
Did he get fucked up or
I
no?
think he did. Well, everybody's going over and asking him, whatever, what are you in second grade? 7.
That was just my chance to say
I don't
fuck
care.
anyways.
Okay, you don't care.
No, if it's just carbon, I don't think it'd do much harm. Pencil lead is carbon
Well,
and
remember
clay.
the term lead poisoning?
Yeah, but
I
it's not
think
really
he was
lead.
actually trying to do that, yeah.
Yeah.
He was trying to poison himself with a pencil.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, back when I was in second grade, which was a lot later, but
Right.
same mindset.
Was anything
Still the
going on
same
like
age.
that?
Yeah, kids would always freak out and say if you touch the pencil lead, you get lead poisoning, and if you like poked it in you, you get poisoned.
Some
and
kids would
stuff.
suck on the pencil and stuff.
Yeah,
I used to
everyone
chew
would
them
freak out.
fuckers like they were going out of style, man. Especially the big red ones. Oh man, that wood was nice and soft. You could like, you spin the whole thing around, chew the hell out of it, and made it brutal if anybody dared try touching it.
No one would ever steal your pencil after that.
Right.
Yeah, I had a lot too much of it.
I'd always
Nobody
take,
ever wanted to.
I'd take my scissors and carve my name into mine. Yeah, you know what you do.
Yeah. No new graphene news today.
Well, when are they going to come out with something?
I don't know.
They haven't said it. And so
They
forth.
said sooner rather than later, though. Comet lights ice on to light up morning skies in the run-up to Christmas.
They say
this,
that.
This is a British article, so...
They say there's a big scene coming from the sky.
It's gonna be crazy, especially if it has any light. If it gives off the light source just as much as the moon, maybe even half the moon. If it does that, it'll throw off the nocturnal creatures. Like
Everything
It will.
you need to know, ice on in 2013.
that'd be like a full moon all the time for them, and you know how full moons do.
If it was, the vegetation too, right? Could mess that up.
Might be better for them.
Oh, see? Can you still see ice on? It's getting difficult because it's so near sunrise.
Oh, but it is still doable.
Yeah, I didn't see the bastard at all.
So we're going to take a break for station identification, huh?
Do we have to?
Oh, we have to.
Yeah, but then that asshole from Spreaker will come out and say his shit, no? You're listening on Spreaker Radio.
So, what do we want to move on to? What subject matter?
I just went to look up graphene again. What should I get off of that?
When is the product?
I don't know,
coming out? Are they coming out with
graphene,
that?
ice on.
This all sounds like very spacey.
Yeah, it's better than talking about the ice
Potential
holes in
applications.
Washington.
It's so
Just saying, lightweight yet thin, flexible, and durable display screens, electric circuits, and solar cells, as well as various medical, chemical, and industrial processes enhanced or enabled by the use of new graphene materials. So, not being too specific.
It sounds like they're just going to integrate it into the old manufacturing process. Anything we're using today.
Right when you said the word integrated, I read the word integrated circuits. Yeah. It's really conductive. Yeah.
Are you kidding me? You know what that's going to do to hard drive technology capability?
Maybe Tesla can make a battery that don't burn up.
Tesla the man or Tesla?
Tesla, no, the car company. Have you heard about them? They build $100,000 cars, which is wonderful, and they're all electric.
And they run very well.
Yeah, but the batteries every now and then, not every one of them, but they start on fire.
A good number of them have
Stuff happens, yeah, to the point where they're going, wait a minute. You know, those aren't going to be driving around our roads. You know, I mean, they've got to do something about that.
The head of Tesla, he was actually like a dot-com guy. Elon Musk, his name is. And he, I forgot, he's one of the dot-com guys, made his money in an internet thing, created Tesla. He's also going to be doing commercial moon flights, space flights and stuff.
That sounds like road. You know what I did read about a guy from Road and Track who did a write-up on the Tesla Motor Car Company for whatever, 2013 or 12 or 13, one of their models, I guess. Anyway, he picked the car up in like New York, and he drove it around. Like he was coming up northeast here, you know. Like, there's a couple, only certain places you can go. There's charging stations. What'll happen? Like say you stayed at a hotel. And he said it was like 3/4 charge when he came out. The next morning it was like a half when he started. Because batteries, like when they sit, they get a little runoff. And also a matter of it ran the heat for the air conditioning quite a bit. That's how fast that car was. Remember, there's no gas engine in it. You got to find a charging station before the thing runs out. Right. So it did actually run out on him. But like one, I don't know. Driving or he almost got to the charger, so he had to call for some motors, and they had to come send a guy in a tow truck. And what happened at the end was they couldn't get in the car. They couldn't get it out of the tow truck on the flatbed because it was dead. You know, so they've got some stuff to work out.
Yeah. This says here that graphene makes it a good candidate for touch screens, so I think it can replace whatever you said. What was that stuff that make the touch screens out of that's running out?
Yeah, I forgot the name.
There's some chemical in touch.
I'm on to another subject. You know how this is a recurring theme of mine. Do you know who Yingluck Shinawatra is?
What? Kama Sutra what?
Yingluck Shinawatra.
No.
She's the Prime Minister of Indonesia.
Why?
A lot of those.
How come all that? You know what? They got so much tragedy in Indonesia. They're going to need it.
Well, you know how I like to touch that hot world leader. Come on, that was
hot world leader.
Wait,
let's go on to hot world. Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? The one from Brazil's kind of hanging in there.
Brazil.
Not Brazil.
Brazil's is from.
Yeah.
From where?
Venezuela. Venezuela. Remember I mixed...
No, Venezuela's a guy.
Argentina. Remember I mixed that up last night? I said I wanted to do the leader of Venezuela, and he said, "Ooh, Hugo Chavez."
Yeah, because he gives us oil. That's why.
Yeah, but this one's hot. You got to admit.
Grease your skin.
Yingluck Shinawatra.
Yeah, he could be kind of.
Does South Korea have a female, whatever, leader?
No.
You know what, though? Some of them deep, like, communistic.
Dennis Rodman's really trying to get a dialogue open with the ding-dong in North Korea. I was reading a thing about him. He says, you know, they aren't as bad as you think. He says, and
who,
really,
Rodman?
North Koreans.
He said Rodman?
Rodman was saying.
Yeah.
He says, you know, the guy loves America. He loves all things American.
You know, but he's right, because they only, what was it, a couple weeks ago, they, I think, like, high-powered rifles or machine guns, they machine gun 90, only 90 people.
Yeah.
So they're not as bad as
he
you
killed
think.
his ex-girlfriend, porn star.
She was in the group. Yeah,
yeah.
I heard about that. Well, they all had trespass against the government.
Yeah.
So Rodman, I guess, in his own way.
So
he should go over there in case.
But you got to figure, in that case, if they're going to act like that, then they fit right in with Washington.
Well, do you think we're there yet?
Almost.
See, I'm a liberal now. I can't see that. We have pretty good lives, don't we? Nobody bothers us.
As long as we don't bother anyone, no one will ever bother us. That's the way it is.
Yeah. That's the way
What planet do you guys live on? What planet do you guys live on? You can go out of your way and be the nicest guy in the world and not bother nobody, and they're still going to cut. As a matter of fact, they're going to shove 2 fists up your ass instead of 1.
This planet is called ignorance. It lives very far away from here. Very far out.
Don't provoke them, Mr. T. Be nice.
I don't provoke anybody. I am the provoked, not the provoker.
Right. So anyway, I kind of think that.
So let's go more about.
I really don't know. I mean,
let's go more about this Steve becoming a liberal.
Remember, I was toying with it.
Yeah, you going to surrender your Second Amendment?
No.
How about your First Amendment?
No.
Fourth Amendment?
What was that one?
That's the one unlawful search and seizure.
Oh, no.
Well,
Why, liberal would surrender all that?
No. You never surrender the Fourth Amendment because that's your right to privacy.
Well, what do you think the NSA's doing? Isn't that unlawful search and seizure of your private goods?
Well, it's for our protection.
Yeah, there's
okay.
The mantra you just read.
And what do you think all the liberals are doing? Aren't they trying to take away your Second Amendment?
Well, all right. Okay, let's get to the reason why I might want to do this.
And let me wait. Let me finish my point, though. And don't they also want to ban violent video games because there's school shootings and stuff, and have stricter controls placed on the films that they themselves create?
Maybe some.
You know what? I believe that they do. Do you?
Some of them.
Okay, and I'm glad he said some of them, because in both parties there seem to be these kind of whack jobs from both sides.
Well, there was good liberals, but George Carlin's dead.
No, that's what I mean. That's the kind of liberal I like. Bad Thomas Jefferson-y, John F. Kennedy-ish. My parents were kind of like that. I mean, that's what I mean. Like, do you think? Can I ask you a question? Is it a progressive or a conservative idea to go to the moon?
That one.
Let's not go because our feet should remain firmly planted on the earth, and we can have nice wars here, make a lot of profit. See, that's the side of me hasn't talked.
We could strip mine the moon and make nice profits.
Up there.
What?
We could strip mine the moon and make profits from that, and explore other planets and suck their resources dry and make lots of money and charge the show back here on Earth.
Space race going on. I mean, JFK had.
But who initiated it? I mean, did John F. Kennedy want us to go to the moon?
He was the one that set the spark on the whole deal.
Didn't Marilyn Monroe give the moon?
Shot the moon.
But anyway, no, I'm serious. That's right. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, no. You know what? All I mean by this whole thing is that there are good liberals and bad liberal people. Because there's good liberals who love liberty, and from the right, there's same thing with conservative people.
And those are the everyday people.
They like liberty.
They're not in power.
Yeah, and both sides can have authoritarian side that make you want to. Both sides want to do something. Let's not make us want to do nothing. You know, other than try to work together, make a better country and a better world.
See, we've got a problem because there's only 2 groups in this country.
Martin Luther King was like that. That's what he meant.
Exactly.
This is what I mean. I mean, these people are always passing off all liberals. No, it's not. It's not true.
That's
You know what? Right now,
the
they're
reason why
going.
we like that is just because we're American, though. We've always historically been given two choices. That's it.
It should be more than two. It should be a number of choices.
There should be as many choices as you can possibly think of. And then
That's
some.
what makes free thinkers, isn't it?
Yes. We should be a country of free thinkers.
We should. Right now, we don't have that. We have people that like to fit into columns.
Yeah.
They slip into these columns, and then they stay rigidly in the column.
And then after a while, they're going to come by and pick one from column A and
I'll
one
tell
from
you
column
what.
B.
It wasn't until Ron Paul came along that I really realized how much liberty I missed and how much I was more of a libertarian person than and I don't mean conservative or Republican or Democrat. I mean just liberty-minded. I love what he said about that stuff, and I could still be a Democrat and feel I was like that.
I'm kind of glad he didn't get elected.
I am
because he would have
too.
soured right away and affected the entire Paul name, and then Rand Paul would have become
Who's
the
that?
next George Bush.
I mean, Ron Paul. I think they might have. I don't think they would have. They were not going to let him get elected. They were going to have to subvert. The news was already in their pocket for subversion. But what I mean is they wouldn't have to do a John Kennedy on him because he would go against their system. It's a system that's in place they have.
Yeah, who's to know if he wouldn't get in there first, though, like by bending over for him then.
What do you mean?
He could go along with the system for so long and then just turn around.
Like, if you watch the election closely, Ron Paul was a team player that last election. You want to know why? Because I believe everybody in the country, including Mitt Romney, thought he was going to get elected.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm serious when I mean that.
He was on the team of the people, though.
So what
That
Ron
was the
Paul
whole
did
problem.
was, and I was glad to see him do it, and I was happy, and I laughed through all of it. We'll deal with that later. I laughed through all of it because what he did was very cool. He took out systematically every one of the Republicans for Romney. Like, you know what I mean? He attacked, if you remember, he attacked every one of them for something. He went after, remember that one that looked Jeff Allen from Illinois? What's his name? Pennsylvania. Rick Santorum. He took him out. He took McCain. He took pleasure in doing that. He was great. But he left Romney alone because Ron Paul knew he wasn't going to get elected. But at least they could get the best representative, and he was the best. If you think about it, Romney was the best of that field. That field sucked. The Texas drunk guy. So he did a speech in Vermont. He was cocked. I saw.
Rick Perry.
Yeah. And Herman
Newt Gingrich.
I like Herman
Can you
Cain.
believe this field?
I like
You know
Herman
what?
Cain.
Ron
Alan
Paul,
West
like a
is better.
sniper, sniped off every one of those pieces of fucking trash that would have went with all the authoritarian left
he
side.
didn't take Herman Cain out.
No, he didn't.
Herman Cain took himself out before Ron Paul even got
Yeah,
a
Ron
chance
Paul.
to
You know,
say
I don't think Ron Paul had too much of an axe to grind with him. He hadn't been around politics long enough. But some of these other guys have carved long histories of going against liberty, constitutional shit. And Ron Paul took pleasure in taking every one of them out of the field. But it was Romney. See, after that, I think people got upset because Ron Paul wasn't in there. A lot of people went to his rallies. They didn't go to Romney rallies like that. If we had just taken the Ron Paul people and just put them over into that camp, I think we would have won it. But no, like the Ron Paul people, I being one of them, I voted for a libertarian guy from New Mexico. You know what I'm saying?
Gary Jones or Gary Johnson.
A lot of us went that way because we were principled. And should we have done it? Well, yeah, I think so. Because look at what's going on now. I told you, it's going to work out.
I kind of think now
It's going to work out in the long run.
Ron Paul's run might have just been a personal thing, and then he could have just been doing it for fun.
I think he was sniping off assholes and screwed off. He saw that they destroyed the country for years.
Like, you could see a little bit of that bleed through, I guess, if you really watch the debate. I don't want to go back.
You know what I think Romney would have pleased, believe it or not, I think Romney would have pleased the left a little too.
Oh, definitely.
Because he did that. He governed in Massachusetts, and for the most part, people liked him here. And we're a mix of everything here, you know? You didn't like him,
If you noticed that when,
No, I didn't.
whenever they were giving the speech, I remember I had to do a paper on one of the debates, and during that one, he said he kept pledging to repeal and replace Obamacare, and that was the thing that kept catching my ears, the replace. Because
It should be replaced, actually.
You know what I will say,
you
though?
just get the same thing. He crafted the one here in Massachusetts.
It's a little better, but still.
We had Bill Weld
That's what you get.
and Mitt Romney, and I enjoyed both of their.
I enjoyed Weld. My beef with Romney was his sleight of hand. He decreased taxes, but he raised fees. Then when Deval Patrick come in, he says, I got to raise the taxes back up. He didn't drop them damn fees. Matter of fact, he raised them too. Deval's a real fast one too. I remember having to talk to the news about the question on the ballot, would I rather see the tolls go up or the gas tax? Or it wasn't on the ballot, it was in the Senate, right?
Yeah.
And they voted for the gas tax they voted for the tolls, and then we got the gas tax as well. No, they voted for the gas tax, then we got the tolls as well.
The toll bill got vetoed, and then they overrode the veto. So we got it.
We got both. We got both, just like the raising of the fees and the raising of the taxes. You know, everything's it's all smoke and mirrors. Which guy is on the one side, which guy is on the other side.
Yeah, whatever. You know, when like an insurance company has to pay out on you, what happens is your premium goes up, right? So we just got to go up on our
if they got to
charges.
pay out, your premium goes up, yet it doesn't compensate for the fact that you've been paying in for 20 years.
No, it doesn't. And it could go up for another 10 years.
Yeah, you pay in for 20
Insurances
years.
don't lose. That's why, in a way, we all got to get as rich as George Soros and Rush Limbaugh, so we don't need insurance.
Right.
No, you still need it.
You need it.
It's just not.
You could lose everything.
How about no insurance? Just make the medical care more affordable.
Why don't we put the whole idea to bed? I mean, why don't we just shut that down and make it a single-payer system? Obviously, the Republicans don't want that. But I think that Obama did, and I think that if they made it that way and they rolled it that way, it might have went out more successfully, and it might be beneficial to a lot of poor people.
I don't know. I'd have to read in more into that. I'm not for or opposed of it because I don't know enough about how that would work.
Yeah, you know, I know that would take insurance out of the private sector. They make an awful lot of money on us being sick, don't they? We really get.
Well, then you boil down to
Everything in America is built on greed.
everything.
Yeah.
And you know what? Every slip of our country that put us into a tyrannical scenario like we think and feel about and talk about sometimes was somebody taking something on the sly. Somebody, slipping somebody something and looking the other way, or saying I'll pass out for.
You know, I was saying in the other day that what if these last 12 or 16 or 20 some odd years wasn't really a slide towards a new world order as much as a concerted power grab by the office of the president, no matter who's occupying it. You know what I mean? Because that's really what
I think you had it all up into the office of the president. If you'd slice that out and put the World Bank or something,
the executive branch,
the Federal Reserve, I think you would have nailed it. I think you would have nailed it. Because, Tom, they don't give a shit who's the president. Mickey Mouse could go in there. He's going to better do the same thing. They'll put a fucking hole in his cheese, man.
You know, look at how strong the executive order has become.
They'll spring the trap on Minnie.
They will.
The executive order can change the face of history with a pen stroke.
So what? It's not viable.
The robo-pen stroke.
It's not viable, or even worse than viable. They seem to put always comparable people into these jobs. Look at John Kennedy, as much as I like him. He's a womanizer. He had a lot on him. Look at Barack Obama's been rumored to be gay, does coke, and blows guys in the back of limousines. This isn't, I'm not saying he does. I just heard rumors.
I just talked to some people who know some people.
I'm just saying it's out on the internet.
I thought
Google it.
I
didn't make it up. I'm not breaking any news, all right?
I thought you were going to say blows dogs, and I was going to say, no, I haven't heard this one yet.
I actually, you know what? I'm starting to like the guy a little more now. So, if I like you and I start talking like that about you, well, you know, I'm working on it. I really do like him.
I know. I think he's inept.
You should be talking about that.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
I'm not going to talk about nonsensical shit. If I talk about...
That's what this show's about.
If I talk about... Yeah, I know. But if I talk about why I'm not going to like the guy, I'm going to talk about substance why I don't like the guy. I don't like the guy because I said this earlier today. If you have a company that is then mismanaged and you hire someone to come in and fix that company, and all they do for the first 4 years
GM
is cry that they inherited in a mess. Well, we knew it was a mess. That's why we brought you in, because you said you could fix the mess. And here we are 4 years later, and it's worse. I think we got to let you go and bring somebody else in. That's my point. Ineptitude. You know what? If you fix the economy, people could overlook a whole lot of the other fascist bullshit and socialist bullshit that's going down.
But have you seen the stock market?
Yeah.
It's going up and up and up.
Yeah.
So, who do you think he... Well, not to us. Well, who do you think he's working for? Or who's he making moves for?
The stock market is completely controlled by the Federal Reserve. That's what the quantitative easing is for.
Right, and the Federal Reserve and the World Bank, they make money no matter who's in, no matter who does what, no matter what asinine thing. It
they
doesn't
actually
matter
need
to them.
help. I mean, he can't blow the whistle on their operation.
They can manipulate their way.
Let's say you were the president.
All right, I am.
All right, and then me and Joe are big bankers, and we got this thing going on that we need you to go out there and make sure that this law passes, or that goes that way, or we go to war with them.
Am I good with that or no?
Yeah, if you're not good with it, we'll talk about the time that we got some pictures of you and your dog, and they were on some stuff.
Well, I'm going to shoot your left testicle off if you put them out.
We got some big guys outside. They got guns.
Well, I'll shoot their nuts off, too.
You make a good president. I think that's what John Kennedy must have said. Well, you go ahead. I'll shoot your nuts off, too.
Yeah. That's exactly how I would talk about
right ahead, young man.
You know how I would run? First thing I would come out and say is, hey, look, there's a lot of people going to come out and say some bad shit about me, and it's probably all true.
What do you think happened when George Bush had to do that? You saw some of those speeches come out and go, well, we've been attacked by terrorism. From now on, people will be coming out and saying stuff to you that might not be true. And there'll be some stuff that will be true.
He let Rumsfeld
did that.
say
I know, but he had a couple speeches where people were asking, well, what's going to go on now? He's just fucking lying. He did what he was told to do.
Yeah, but at least he told you right up front he was going to lie to you.
And we've always said he was a great guy. He probably did. Otherwise, we'd do a line with you.
He probably wrote.
Great guy.
He probably wrote that into the speech. Said, hey, at least that's my one concession. I did the right thing. I told the people we're going to lie to him. That's about.
He basically did. From now on, you're going to be lied to.
That's about. We might
and
be
you
telling.
know what? I bet you that got something off his chest.
What he said was, What he said was, we might be telling the truth. We might not be telling the truth.
I mean, for God's sake, his father was in the CIA.
You don't get anywhere with clean hands being in the CIA.
You must know a few things going on. Talked about on Thanksgiving.
On another to derail this, but stay on the presidential thing. I think
there's a funny speech when Bush was talking at Gerald Ford's funeral.
Yeah.
He's talking about, I think, did I show it to you on the thing on YouTube?
Yeah.
Well, he's talking and he's like giving like a solemn speech. He's talking about Gerald Ford, and then he happened to talk about Gerald Ford and something about John Kennedy that day in Dallas with the lone crazed gunman. And as he said lone, right between saying lone and crazed, the lone gunman, crazed gunman, he kind of gave like a little George Bush like smile and laugh in the middle of a funeral, like it was like it was an inside joke that everybody believes that he he got killed by that gun. I mean, in his head, he thought, that's kind of funny. Let me get back to the funeral. But, you know, because people bought that. Because he knows everything about what happened that day. And he walks around, you know, nobody questions nothing. It's okay. He probably had a special seat at you know, the commemoration the other day. Guy probably, you know, I'm sure a lot of people sitting there had a lot to do with his death and knew that everything went on.
Was it Rumsfeld on the Warren Commission?
I
think he was.
Arlen Specter. Arlen Specter.
I think Arlen Specter was. Rumsfeld was.
Yeah.
Cheney was somebody's. I think he was Rumsfeld's.
Isn't it funny how everybody they often say that everybody that surrounded him later on, and we're talking today, up today in the last 10 years, became the power people. In a way, if you would look at this from
in, they would have came right back.
Huh?
If Romney got in, those people would have come right back.
Well, that's what
they would have, yeah.
That's what I said earlier about Bush.
You know, have him as your secretary.
George Bush probably figured he was coming in off the heels of a Bill Clinton, feel-good kind of good economy. He was going to coach.
Barack Obama is from another camp.
But still.
I'm telling you, he's not from the camp to kill Kennedy. These are the Kennedy killers here. They're the Bush people. These are the people who were involved in this assassination.
You don't think behind the scenes that there's, you know, your Warren Christophers and all that are still active?
I completely agree.
Mine too,
I'm just telling you whether don't forget, Lyndon Johnson was a Democrat, and he's got his blood on his hands too. So, I mean, this was, like I said, this was the establishment killed Kennedy.
See, I think that was Bush's first slap in the face when they said, George, you're going to have this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy somewhere in your administration. We need them to keep an
Bush
eye
got
on.
in there, he knew who Daddy or
before he got in.
He was going to have that.
Oh, that was above his father's. Right? So that was up in the, like, James Baker level.
Wow. Yeah, so anyway, that's what's going on.
Now I said two names, Warren Christopher and James Baker. Those two behind the scenes control way more than anybody could imagine.
If you think about it, in the 60s, communist-type people were the hippies, I guess. Well, they would be considered the communists by the establishment, which was the ones like the Nixons and those kind of people. It's still going on today. Obama's from the hippie-type thing. He's from the left side communist, and the other's from the fascist side right. You know, but there's people in the middle, and there's a lot of us that really feel that the extremes of both sides are stupid.
Even with the hippies, there were factions. There were your communist, radical, socialist, overthrow the government and all this. And there were the hippies who
cared about the environment.
Less government, just stay out of our lives.
That's right. That's the kind I like. And that was, I believe, that was what Ron Paul picked up on the left. And on the right, he got the people who wanted to listen to the Constitution. They wanted a lot of their rights.
But I think too many of those people stayed...
the government either.
Too many of those people stayed Democrat liberals, progressive liberals of today just because of what it is, and they've lost sight of the ideals.
Well, yeah.
I've always been in Democrat.
Both sides are guilty of that, don't you?
Yes. Yes, I think there's a good amount of the people on the right who don't necessarily
That's what keeps me as an independent.
Me too.
That's really what you would just hit it nail on the head, because neither one can I go. Neither column do I fit, you know?
Well, if you look at it this way.
And then they'll say that we can't make a decision. Well, I can make a decision that you're wrong, not all the time.
The progressives and the liberals are trying to force more laws, more government intervention on your life, right?
Government.
The neocons and the so-called right are trying to force morality through laws, and even though they're claiming less government, by adding more laws, you add more government.
I know, but that's not their biggest trespass. It's capitalizing everything for profit for large corporations, like whether it's a war or health care.
Not anymore. That's kind of shifted. Both sides are equally as guilty, but look at the large corporations on the left, the biggest ones. Microsoft, Google, Oracle, all of Hollywood.
That's where you blend your Soroses and Limbaughs to me, and then they can sit at the dinner table and talk about the same stuff.
And what do you got on your right? You have your Halliburtons and Walmart.
Like I was talking, defense contractors. Either way, it's good. America used to run the most efficiently from the center point, where both sides came together to elect someone, whether it was John F. Kennedy or Ronald Reagan. You get what I mean? Remember the blue dog Democrats that Reagan got, the Reagan Democrats they call them? Well, that you do need that. That's how this country runs efficiently. And even if the House has it, if they don't like they, for some reason, a lot of people didn't like Obama. Maybe he was too radical for them. Maybe, you know.
That was my email.
I'm just saying, you know, it was probably your email. So maybe he was just too radical for him. I mean, I didn't vote for the guy twice, but I liked Ron Paul, and I'm more the independent type people, liberty people.
I thought Romney would have done a better job fixing the economy.
I think Romney could have fixed it. I don't think Romney could. He would have turned his back on Benghazi. I think a few places, the globalist type banker people I mentioned before, the World Bank, I don't think they would have liked Romney as much. I think Barack Obama was more of a desirable.
Oh, I don't know though. I think Romney would have made them more money.
He would have made them more money
and held them at bay longer.
I think so, because I think he had morals.
Well, I didn't like the guy, but I voted.
Did you vote?
But now,
but you probably should have voted for Ron.
But now, in order to fix the system,
though. Well, thank God he just voted for Ron Paul. Like
in order to fix the system, and this will bring me back around to something I wanted to say when we were talking about the presidents in general. Don't you think that if a guy ain't smart enough to write his own speech that he shouldn't be president?
Yeah, I would think so.
So we should get rid of speechwriters, right? This will give us more of an insight into your character, not the character of your speechwriter. Not somebody who's going to put words in your mouth that he's paid a lot of money to know what the people want to hear. And so, in order to fix the whole system, if you get rid of speechwriters, you term limit the legislative branch. I think a 12-year term limit, 2 6-year terms is better than...
You can't get rid of speechwriters because they are complete artistes of bullshit they have.
I know. That's why they have to
and they write the same speech for both presidents. Doesn't matter what they always touch on all the stuff in the history and the Constitution that they all break anyway. But they do it. They word it in a nice way.
That's why they have to go.
Well, no.
Presidents,
no. We built a world.
No. President got to be able to talk and chew gum at the same time.
You want a smart president.
Well, that's part of it. Yes. The other thing is lobbyists have to be done away with.
The smartest president we've had in a long time. What do you think?
Bill Clinton.
I think I would agree with you.
Smart, yeah.
You know why I would say that? Because I think that slick is actually another word for maybe smart with a slippery side.
Yeah. I actually took both things of what you said into consideration there.
Yeah.
How slick he was as a person, his charisma, and which isn't really smarts, but it is in being able to develop it. It's
in order to be a president, you need that.
The charisma, he had charisma galore.
Yep.
That's what got him everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
The fact where I consider that smart is he was able to use that charisma in a way to get what he wanted.
Right.
And book smarts.
Right.
I got no problem with the affairs.
But anyway.
Come on, world leaders been getting something on this side since like back in the days of Egypt. You know, and everybody in between.
I never just watched it with amazement going, why do I care about this?
If you want to get on the guy's case for NAFTA or something like that,
we did all kinds of crazy shit.
Our intervention over in Kosovo, yes, all that stuff.
You know what? That was probably the most justifiable thing and I thought any guy could do. You're gonna admit that? What guy would?
That's one of the perks of being the most powerful man in the world.
You know what, Tom? If you admitted that, we have to take your guy card right away. Give me that card. Give me that card. Give it up. You know?
Yeah.
Hug that card right up.
I had no issue.
So guess
with
what?
that.
Clinton wasn't giving his card up.
I ain't
giving up. Okay, we're gonna lie.
No. Instead, he wore it proudly.
Depends what the definition of business.
He's got his membership, you know. Ain't nobody questions Bill Clinton's sexuality.
I'll tell you why, he's probably on the chairman of the board.
Yes.
He went a long way for the cause.
And I mean, the guy was smart.
You know.
He did lead a pseudo economic boom, and everybody felt good about
nobody
it.
was hurt like now.
I didn't agree with his policies.
Yeah. Like the other day, you know what he said to Obama? Make good on your word. Make what you promise people not to.
I'm a malcontent anyways. I go back to, you know, if I look back through my life, I can't think of one president that I agreed with on a lot of stuff. I liked Reagan the most because he was the most.
I liked Grant.
Yeah, but I like Ulysses Grant.
Yeah.
He was kind of inept. He got in a little bit over.
He got shot, didn't he?
Grant? No.
Who's the guy that got shot, but he lived?
Teddy Roosevelt.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Was he?
Yeah. Yeah, he was giving a speech.
Teddy Roosevelt.
The big fat speech in his pocket stopped the bullet.
It was all that.
And he continued on and gave the speech, and at the end of the speech, he opened up his jacket, talking to the people like this, and all the blood was all over his shirt. People were freaking out. He also...
That was when he was running for president in 1908, right?
Yeah, he wasn't president when he got shot.
1912. It was 1912.
After he was president the first time. He also got in a horse and buggy accident in Pittsfield, and it screwed up his walk for the rest of his life.
In Pittsfield now?
Yeah.
Up in the corner state? Mm-hmm. Pretty much places us on the map.
So now, back to fixing everything, the lobbyists got to go too. And I also think that for state elections, for each individual from a state, only money from in that state can be used to donate. Somebody from California shouldn't be able to donate to a Massachusetts senatorial campaign. I think if you did just those few simple changes, for one, you'd be able to screw up anybody's power.
You know what we saw?
The government of the United States.
You know what we saw in 2013? Well, even barring lobbyists, but we saw the transference in the that Bilderberg meeting there. They transferred the power of their bureaucracy, which was
to the technocrats.
To the technocrats.
Yep.
Now it's been given to like those younger guys on the board of Microsoft, Google.
Everyone.
It's just been transferred because they're going to be taking the reins now.
Eric Schmidt, the CEO of Google, gave one of the keynote speeches at the Bilderberg meeting.
You know that? Don't you?
Bear in mind, I think that the Bilderberg meetings are exactly what they say. Think tank meetings of a bunch of...
Of course that's what they are.
It is. But what it is, they're all of a mindset, and they don't release.
And it's kind of secret too, Tom. That's the thing.
Remember, one year Bill Gates gave a speech on eugenics there.
Tom, why do you think at one of those meetings, right? Probably 30 years ago, somebody goes, you know, we're going to put these stuff in the airplanes in the sky, and they're going to blow across the sky and make lines in the sky, and then they come down, and from there we'll be able to shoot. I don't know. I'm just making it up. But you know what I mean? At one time, that went on in that meeting of, well, won't they see the lines? No, they won't really notice. Some might, but the most won't care. So, and that's what happened.
The hell, there are lines from the airplane.
Take any photo from your childhood and look and see if you see any lines behind anybody.
I used to remember them things.
I know.
I did. I sat there and I watched them.
You remember chemtrails in the 60s?
Shit, yeah. They've been doing it. They've been doing it since the 50s. You sure I can keep those?
Anyway, I guess you're right.
They've been doing, so I say we fix the government under those plans.
I mean, we could fix the government 1,000 times. It's those guys in those meetings, they get the power to do their government.
Well, there's the problem, though, in that
them the one to do that.
You're never going to get our legislative body to agree on term limits for themselves.
You know, and like, you know, the New World Order, all they're trying to do is, like, they've got everything hooked up with computers now. It's going to their whole one world scenario.
You know how we crash them?
It's not about crash them. We're going to have to join here somehow.
No. You know how we crashed the New World Order, people? Not the internet and not the system. Not the internet, not the system, not the power grid anyway. You know how we ditched the New World Order? We won't. We'll just give them a jolt that'll make them have to realign.
So you are in it. I'm on their side.
Out of the UN. The UN is gone out of the United States, and we are dropping out.
That's how we do it?
Yeah.
Sounds like you've solved every major problem we're dealing with today.
No,
the United States should just
still haven't.
Everyone's business for about 50 years.
That used to be our policy when we accepted the country. Right? We were isolationists, as they call us.
Well,
we had our government, we had our constitution.
I wouldn't totally isolate. What I would do...
We're on our continent, we can stay.
You know what I would do, though? I wouldn't totally isolate, but what I would do is I would say to the people who... all the countries we give foreign aid, you know, we've been a generous country for a lot of years, and we plan in the future to continue to be a generous country. In order to strengthen our economy and ourselves right now, so that we can continue to be generous in the future, we need to stop for 5 years probably. I don't know exactly when. We'll let the number crunchers figure that out. But we need to keep all this money in our country and reduce our spending by reducing our foreign aid. There are certain things I wouldn't touch. Certain humanitarian things.
Like, it almost sounds like we're like a bunch of kindergartners talking about how to fix the high school.
And now,
but you say it has no bearing on what the seniors in high school are thinking.
And you guys, like over in Saudi Arabia,
is that what you're getting?
It's in your best interest to keep stability in this piece in the world. So spread a little bit of your wealth around.
It would be beautiful.
It would be nice, but it's not. You know, and it's not that it wouldn't fix it, and it will. It probably would. And I think we've all had great ideas over the years, but they're not going to do it. I don't know exactly.
Then we legalize prostitution, government-run bordellos.
That might work, actually.
We use that money to pay for the health care for our citizens. We take a tremendous amount of disease problems off the street.
Yeah.
You deal with anything.
I want a job as an inspector.
Yeah. We legalize marijuana, tax it, all 50 states, regulate. Now,
that's more realistic.
With the other drugs, we decriminalize simple possession. Because we don't really need our drug officers busting the 2-bit junkie on the street with a $25 bag of
We have
heroin.
them guard the grow houses.
No, but what you do is if you are caught in the commission of a crime with any of the decriminalized drugs in your pocket, then you double the penalty. So, you know...
This is weird. We did a show.
Yeah, and we fixed the world while we did it.
We did?
Yeah.
A couple of highlights of the show. You fixed the world. I became a liberal. Joe wants to be an inspector.
Yeah.
So
but, let's say this.
But
I don't even expect
all this world.
Yeah.
All this world fixing. We missed the 50-state lottery too. I'm bringing income into this government through capitalism, through free market.
I hope that next week I'm not like in the Communist Party or something.
Maybe
a Nazi.
But I will say this though. All this fixing of the world.
What if I come in as a Muslim? I don't know when I'm going to come in next week.
All this fixing of the world has made me fucking hungry.
I'm hungry.
I'm starving.
Yes,
so, see ya.
Anyway, I guess this is the end of It's High Time We Talked.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
We'll see you next show. Have a nice day.
Whenever.
Play our outro song here. This is where the outro song goes.
Well, what are we going to put?
I don't know yet.
All right.
Just get off the press.